When the video surfaced online, it didn't look real at first. The frame shook. The lighting flickered. You could hear faint breathing behind the camera, and then the sound of crying. A girl's voice whispered, "Please stop." A few seconds later, a door slammed, and a man's voice, calm but venomous, said, "You'll thank me when you grow up." That short, horrifying clip, less than 40 seconds long, would shatter an entire town, expose a system that failed its own students, and leave a trail of questions that no one could answer. Because when investigators traced where the footage came from, they realized it wasn't just bullying. It was something much darker, and it had been happening for years. Before we begin, if you believe every hidden truth deserves to be uncovered, comments, like and subscribe to Cold Case Secrets. Here, we bring you the stories the world tried to bury, one haunting case at a time. This story takes us to Haverly, a quiet Midwestern town with tree-lined streets, 2 traffic lights, and a population barely scraping 5,000. To outsiders, Haverly looked like the perfect postcard of American small-town life. Neat lawns, Friday football games, and teachers who knew every student by name. But beneath that image, like so many towns built on routine and silence, there were cracks invisible to most. Until one student decided to record what no one else dared to. Her name was Clara Hayes. She is 17 years old, junior at Haverly High, honor roll student, quiet, creative, always sketching in the margins of her notebook. Clara wasn't the kind of kid you'd expect to make waves. She loved art, volunteered at the library, and kept to herself. But in her final semester, something changed. Her friends noticed she started skipping lunch, avoiding certain hallways, and spending long hours alone after class. The teacher at the center of this story, the man everyone thought they knew, was Mr. Daniel Reeve, 44 years old, respected English teacher, debate coach, and the kind of person parents trusted automatically. He'd taught at Haverly High for nearly 20 years. He'd been nominated for Teacher of the Year 3 times. He wrote recommendation letters, gave motivational talks, and attended church every Sunday. So when rumors started spreading that Mr. Reeve had been picking on a student, nobody believed. At least, not at first. It started subtly. During class, he'd call on Clara more than anyone else. If she answered correctly, he'd smirk and say, "You think you're smarter than me, Hayes?" If she got it wrong, he'd make her repeat the mistake in front of everyone. At first, her classmates laughed. They thought it was sarcasm. But over time, it stopped being funny. He'd criticize her art projects and tear them up, saying they lacked effort. He'd mark her papers lower than everyone else's. And when she complained to the school counselor, the counselor wrote, "Student misinterpreting constructive criticism." Weeks passed, then months. The humiliation became routine. And in small-town America, where reputation mattered more than truth, Clara learned to stay quiet. But behind closed doors, she started documenting everything. Notes, dates, times, every remark, every grade changes, every look. She wasn't planning revenge yet. She just wanted someone to believe her. Her parents, overworked and barely keeping their family afloat, told her to focus on school and not make trouble. Her friends drifted away, afraid of being targeted next. And that's when something inside Clara broke. One rainy afternoon, Clara's uncle, a security installer, came by to fix their home router. When he left, he forgot a small USB camera, no bigger than a thumb drive. Clara stared at it for a long time. Then she made a decision that would change everything. She hid it in the sleeve of her pencil case. Every morning before class, she'd place the case at the edge of her desk facing the front of the room. The lens was nearly invisible. For 2 weeks, she recorded everything. At first, it was ordinary. Students reading essays, laughter, bells ringing. Then came the moments she dreaded when Mr. Reeve singled her out. He'd mock her tone of voice. He'd make her read aloud while correcting her pronunciation in front of everyone. Once, he slammed his hand on her desk so hard that her water bottle spilled, and when she flinched, he said, "Overreacting again, Miss Hayes?" In one clip, you can hear him whisper as he collects her paper, "You're not special, Clara. You just need attention." When she watched the footage that night, she cried for hours. Not just because of what he said, but because, for the first time, she had proof. Still, she hesitated. Who would believe her when the entire town idolized him? She decided to keep recording. And that's when she caught something she never expected. It was Friday, March 12th, the day before spring break. The video begins like any other. The classroom half empty, students restless, chatter echoing. Then, the sound of the door locking. Mr. Reeve tells the class they can leave once they hand in their essays. Minutes later, it's just him and Clara. She's sitting quietly, sketchbook open. Then his tone changes. "You think people feel sorry for you," he says. "You make up stories to make yourself look like a victim." She doesn't answer. He steps closer. Too close. What happens next is muffled, his voice low, cruel. Then the sound of a slap, a gasp, and silence. The footage ends abruptly when the pencil case falls to the floor. When Clara recovered the device that evening, her hands shook as she pressed play. She rewatched it again and again, unable to breathe. The next day, she showed it to her best friend, Emily, who begged her to take it to the police. But in towns like Haverly, justice wasn't that simple. The Haverly Police Department received the footage on March 14th. Detective Ryan O'Donnell, a 25-year veteran, reviewed it personally. Within hours, the school district was notified. But when word reached Principal Elaine Porter, she advised handling it internally. She claimed the video could be taken out of context. Mr. Reeve was placed on temporary leave, pending investigation. Yet, less than a week later, he was seen back in the building, grading papers. Meanwhile, Clara's life fell apart. Anonymous notes appeared in her locker. "Liar, you ruined his life." One note simply read, "Delete it before it deletes you." Her parents received calls from strangers telling them to withdraw the complaint. Someone slashed their car tires. And the worst part, when the footage leaked online, edited and distorted, it painted her as the aggressor. A clip circulated showing her arguing with the teacher, the slap removed, the sound manipulated. Suddenly, she wasn't a victim. She was that girl from the video. Detective O'Donnell, frustrated by the school's resistance, decided to dig deeper. He subpoenaed Reeve's computer and found something chilling in a series of hidden folders labeled with students' initials. Inside, recordings, photos, and behavior notes. Some dating back nearly 10 years. It wasn't just Clara. There had been others. Some transferred schools. Some dropped out. One girl named Hannah Blake, from 2015, had taken her own life after reporting verbal humiliation by the same teacher. But her case had been closed as a personal tragedy. O'Donnell confronted the school board with the evidence. They denied knowledge, calling it an isolated incident. But when local journalists got wind of the discovery, everything changed. The headline read, "Hidden Cameras, Broken Trust, Haverly High Scandal Exposes Decade of Abuse." Within days, national outlets descended on the town. Parents pulled their kids from school. Mr. Reeve vanished. 2 weeks later, the FBI traced Reeve's credit card to a motel 3 hours away. When they entered the room, they found his laptop, a half-packed suitcase, and a note. It read, "You think you know the truth, but Clara isn't what she seems. She found me not the other way around." On the bed, there was a flash drive. Inside it, footage from a camera placed in the hallway outside the classroom. In it, you can see Clara entering Reeve's office at night twice. The first time, she appears nervous, pacing. The second time, she's carrying something in her hand, the same USB camera. No one knew what she was doing there. The timestamp showed it was the night before she reported him. The clip reignited debate online. Was she planting evidence? Was it staged? Or had she been confronting him privately? To this day, investigators can't confirm what happened in those missing hours. Because 3 days after the footage surfaced, Clara disappeared. The official story released by the district claimed ongoing investigation. Mr. Reeve was never found. His car was discovered abandoned near Lake Briar, with his phone and wallet still inside. Volunteers searched for days. They found nothing. Meanwhile, Clara's disappearance tore the town apart. Her parents accused the police of negligence. Conspiracy forums claimed she'd been silenced. Detective O'Donnell retired 6 months later, citing health reasons. But in an interview years later, he admitted something he'd never told the public. He said that when he analyzed the final frame of the hidden classroom footage slowed down to 1/8 speed, he noticed a reflection in the window. A second figure. Watching. Filming. That person was never identified. To this day, the halls of Haverly High remain unchanged. The same brick walls. The same desks. The same classroom where a quiet girl tried to prove the truth. Some say the district replaced every camera. Others say they only removed the ones that pointed toward room 3B, Mr. Reeves' class. Every year, new students walk those halls, unaware of the story buried beneath the polished floors and banners of academic excellence. But those who were there, who lived through it, still hear whispers. Whispers of a teacher who controlled everything. Whispers of a student who refused to be silent. And somewhere in that small town, a piece of footage still exists uncut, unedited, showing what really happened that day. Because justice doesn't always come in courtrooms or headlines. Sometimes it's hidden in pixels, waiting for someone brave enough to watch. In early 2023, nearly 8 years after Clara's disappearance, a new video was uploaded anonymously to a dark web forum. It was only 10 seconds long. But in those seconds, you can see a hand holding a drawing of Clara's style unmistakably. And written across the page in shaky letters were 3 words: "He's still here." Part 2, coming soon. Subscribe to Cold Case Secrets, where we uncover the truth behind the world's darkest mysteries and the secrets that refuse to stay buried. Thank you for watching Cold Case Secrets.